Since I've been an adult, look behind, that is my house. I've been a child of Isanland without a doubt every time, 4, 5, 6 times a year. I do things in Isanland because we are not noisy in my family. My brother is here, I am here, my parents were here, does not mean I am a true Isan boy. I'm not going to use Homeboy because they've used it badly. I am a true Isan boy. I am a true Edo boy. I am a true Nigerian. That's what I am. Since 2008, I've been in the economic team for Governor Comrade Oshomole. Since Governor Obaseki came in, I've been chairman of the economic team. I have been coming into Edo State to support and advise the government. I've been giving advice since 2008, which is 15 years ago, which meant that I came into Edo State 5, 6, 7 times, sometimes 8 times a year on government business, not to talk about my own personal business. So, people can say what they like. Because you're not noisy and because you're not jumping from one mama to the other does not mean that you're not a true Edo boy. And this issue about Edo boy, this issue about Edo boy, this issue about a true son of the soil is in the heart.
Absolutely.
It's fully in the heart.
Absolutely.
There are many of our brethren and sisters in the diaspora who are more Edo than many people that live there.
Absolutely.
So it is in the heart. It is what you do in your heart. It's not how many pepper soup joints you go to. So we will all, those of us in diaspora, those of us in diaspora in Nigeria, in diaspora abroad, all the best hands must come to develop Edo State. Some people cannot sit in the village or in Mama Put and say the rest of us cannot come and develop our state. It is not done. So we all come together to develop Edo State. Plus the
Wow, yes. It is your darling program, The Comrade and Friends, a segment of The Comrade Show. Today is going to be a very hot one, and we want you to participate because there is a lot to talk about. Still on the road to 2024 Edo State governorship elections. Very important out there. A lot happened this week, with Philip Shaibu declaring openly on Monday, and many have followed. There is a big issue. Are you Homeboy? Are you Esan boy? Are you Edo boy? This is topical and is very important. As we look at 2024 in Edo State, we want to answer these questions. We cannot do it alone. We want you to pick your phone and be part of this discussion. Who is an Esan boy? Who is Homeboy? Who is an Edo boy? Did I hear you ask, who is an Edo girl? These and many more we shall be discussing today on your darling program, The Comrade and Friends. Join us. We'll be coming right back. Yes, my people, you are welcome back. Today, the 3rd of December, 2023. I say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you are in the globe. Your darling program is here, and serve we must. To all our friends and viewers, I want to appreciate all of you, and to say that wherever you are, please share. Don't watch alone. You can join us on TCS blog. Please share. I am your friend and brother, Comrade Augustine Iremiran. And today, we have the CNC of the Comrade Show, Comrade Lantik Bonsara, here with us to discuss this very important issue. Like I said, the road to 2024, Homeboy, Home girl, Edo boy, Esan boy, which way? Comrade Lantik, are you an Edo boy? Are you an Esan boy or a Bini boy? Where are you? You are welcome.
I am honestly, I think I pride myself on Edo boy by birth and by inclination, because I live Edo boy, I think Edo, and I think I qualify, to be an Edo boy. Greetings to you, my brother, Comrade Pharmacist Remy, and Nigerians, greetings to you and welcome to the Comrade Show. This matter is a topical matter. It's not going away anytime soon, and I don't expect to actually go away because of this election. Yes, who's an Edo boy?
Thank you so much, Comrade Lamte. I think we decided today to ask that very important question as we march towards 2024. Last Sunday, we talked briefly about this, and from last Sunday till now, many people have joined the race to become governor of Edo State. Very paramount was what happened this week in Benin City, Edo State, when the deputy governor of the state Comrade Philip Shaibu made a very, very serious declaration, and he used a very important word which has generated lots of energy in the house. And he said, I am the homeboy. Apparently, some people would argue that I was referring to another guy in the wing who was trying, or still, at that time it was rumor, and that he was running. But that guy came again a few days later to answer that very important question. And he has said, I don't want to be homeboy. I want to be an Esan guy and an Edo boy. So today in Comrade Show, we want to have a real discussion. And we are begging all of you, pick up your phone and make a contribution. What criteria do we require to become governor? Is it just being an Edo boy, being an homeboy, or being an Esan boy? Like Asue Ighodalo said, we shall really be deepening these matters. Comrade Lamte, without much ado, does it matter where you come from to become governor of Edo State? Well, although the constitution says you must come from Edo State. So my question is, does it matter whereabouts you come from? What makes you an Edo boy? What makes you an homeboy? What makes you a Bini boy? And what makes you an Esan boy? And let me extend it. What makes you an Onwan boy, an Esako boy, and an Akoko Edo boy?
You know, I think that as we get along in the course of life's journey politically, a lot of things get, they get thrown up, even though they were not, or they are not encapsulated in the rules as part of the rules of engagement. They just get thrown up. And I think this conversation is one of such things. Constitutionally, as far as you are a Nigerian and you are from Edo State, when you meet that criteria of being an Edo State indigene, and you meet the other criteria, of qualification and every other thing, you can actually, run for, office, run for governorship or whatever office as it were. Now, this conversation is not a matter that borders, on constitutional debate, as it were. And it's a matter, that border on as they say in quotes, this homeboy axiom that is now being used. It borders on not really morality, but how close you are to your own constituents. What is your relationship with your constituents? And so even though it's not a matter that is constitutional, that cannot stop anybody from contesting election, it's, for me, I think it would be an added advantage to other things that the constitution actually provides for. So I think that's where this debate, is going to be alive and it's going to be well, in the very long haul.
Yeah, thank you so much, Comrade Lamte. At least you've established that. But Comrade Lamte, I must say something. I think a few months ago, a famous politician in Edo State came out to say that the next governor of Edo State must be somebody that is our own, that lives here, that does all this stuff. As at that time, we didn't understand what was going on until Comrade Philip Shaibu declared on Monday and used the word homeboy. And of course, the most talked about Asue Ighodalo came out a few days ago to talk about it and to say that he's an Esan boy and they want to use the word Edo boy. It means that among the politicians, something was already cooking. Maybe they know what we don't know, and maybe part of the fracas that happened between the governor and the deputy governor was these discussions, even though they've come out to say there was no discussion, because we can begin to tie the ropes together. Because Asue Ighodalo did something that no politician has ever done in the history, going back to his people to campaign and spoke a different language. Could this be what they were referring to? I don't know if you have that video on cue. Let us play it. He is speaking the language of your native tongue, a prerequisite for leadership, a prerequisite for governance. There is a big lesson to learn. And those and everybody far and wide, please pick up your phone and answer that question. But Comrade Lamte, the question I'm asking you today, speaking your native language, is it a prerequisite for Edo State 2024? And we can take off from there if you have that video where Asue Ighodalo went to his native
Ighodalo, Ogono, Ogano, Omono, Otoyu, Oyada, Ejayaki, Narobologi, Narobologi, Olena, Narobologi.
I can only promise one thing. In the name of my father, my mother, my family, my brother, all of us and all of you, my brethren and sisters, I promise one thing. If you support me through this process, Ewohimi will be a different town. This will be a different empire. And Edo State will be the #1 state in Nigeria. I promise you by the grace of God Almighty. So I need your support. I need your full support. I do not want us to quarrel. I do not want us to petition. I want all of us to be one. Stand as one. If we from Ewohimi stand as one, the whole of Esa land will take us seriously. And the whole of Esa land will stand as one. And we will drive Edo State. I'm asking for your support. I'm asking everybody to go and register if you are not registered. So that we can all vote as one.
Yeah, Conrelante, thank you so much. Viewers, that is Asue Ighodalo in his village in Edo Central, Ewohimi to be precise, where he went to canvass support and to drum support. And you can see that he was talking in English and somebody was interpreting in the native dialect. It reminded me of when we used to go to crusade and you have the pastors talking in English and somebody is repeating in the other language. This is novel. I've never seen this before. And the question today is, does speaking the language a guarantee for you not to be governor? Could that be a reason? And just before I pass the baton to Conrelante, I think so many other aspirants may fall into this category. The light has not been beamed on them, so we don't really know. But again, too, as somebody living in diaspora, we have children. I can proudly say that my children are from Edo State. They may or may not be speaking the language. When their time comes, could this be a reason why they cannot be or aspire for leadership position, like in the case of being a governor? I also want to say, to use myself as a point in case, I was born and bred up in Benin. I can speak a fair amount of the Benin language. I think I can also speak a fair amount of Otuo, where I'm from. But I think my Benin is absolutely better than my Otuo. And I know that sometimes they may also say I'm not Benin. If I go to Otuo, they may also say I'm not from there. Where do I stand, people like me? And are there lessons we need to learn? We'll talk about that later. But Conrelante, how does this meet you? To me, I was flabbergasted, I was semi-astonished, and I was surprised. I've never seen this in politics before. We can't hear you, Lamte. You are muted.
Sorry about that. Honestly, I think I was stunned. I was stunned because I wasn't expecting that. Because what we've always known is that a masquerade will not dance outside if he does not dance first at home. And that's why Ighodalo did something which I mean, is the tradition. You know, he went to his hometown, his home village, to go and tell his own people that he was running for the highest office of the land. And that's exactly the scene we saw there. And a lot of things came across my mind. And one of them was that there was quite a large crowd out there, you know, people hailing and chanting. And the question I asked myself was, if it were possible for us to see what the conversation would be with the elders of the land when after Asue Ighodalo, you know, had left, what the conversation would be. I am sure that a cross-section of them are still going to discuss how come he does not speak Esan language. I've got loads of Esan friends, very many of them, and there is one thing I know about the Esans. I don't know if I have an Esan friend who does not speak Esan language. You know, I don't know if I have one. So, I know so well that the Esan language is very, very dear to the Esan people. Now, apart from that, I equally, you know, as a human being, I've been alive now for quite a while, and each time I meet somebody, okay, for the first time, who says he's a Benin person, there is a way the person presents to me if the person speaks Benin, rather than just say I'm Benin speaking in English. I feel more at home as a person. You understand what I'm saying now? With somebody who speaks Benin to me, particularly somebody that I didn't know before. I meet the person for the first time, the person says I'm Benin, and the person now goes ahead, takes a step forward to speak the Benin language. And it comes across differently. There's that feeling of acceptance, feeling of, yes, this one is my kind, this one is my own. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? So while the language may not be a prerequisite for him to get a ticket, I probably think that a lot of people, you know, a lot of Esan people are going to have some snag, like, you know, be on the edge of their seat quite a bit. So it's speaking a language is going to be advantageous. There's no doubt about it. But it definitely will not stop, you know, anybody who's aspiring if that becomes the case.
So, Comilante, I think I like the stand here. It's just like picking up the kola nut and making a kola nut prayer and speaking English. Like they say, the kola nut does not understand the English language. It does understand the native dialect. And it sort of gives a different feeling. But again, Comilante, things are changing. Politics is becoming very novel. Don't you think with what is happening now, governance will suffer if we continue to dwell on speaking the language or not living in the place? How do you see that?
No. I don't think so. Uh, we are still evolving. As a matter of fact, nobody can claim right now in Edo State to say, man, you know, I have governed Edo State and I've positioned Edo State where Edo State wanted Edo State people want Edo State to be. You understand the picture what I'm saying now? Everybody comes to make promises. It is the same old promises that we hear. You understand what I'm saying now? So you're speaking your language or not speaking the language, you're being close or not being close, or what you say does not really determine what you are going to do. People have said sweeter things, they've you know, engender hope, and they get into office and they make a mess of the whole situation. People have sacrificed because of what people say, to say, man, wow, this person is an intellect, this person is good, this person is this is that, this person is going to. Many of us have equally done that, you know, come out to take a stand with people because of what they have told us they are going to do. We believe in them, and at the end of the day, some of them get into office and make a mess of the whole situation. So I think we should treat each item, you know, on their own, independent of the other. You understand what I'm saying now? That you speak your Edo language, Esan, Bini, Esak, or whatever it is, or you don't speak, does not determine whether you are going to perform or you are not going to perform. You understand what I'm saying? I think the question here is the people, the Benin man says, can I say, now where you see person reach, and then you will describe and reach. You get a picture of what I'm saying now. I'm not going to describe you more than what I know about you. So if I'm talking about Asue Ighodalo right now, one of the things I probably know about him now right now is that he cannot speak his Esan language, you know, and that makes him look like a stranger to even the Esan man. Other people may argue that, yeah, it doesn't matter, it's not going to determine governance. I'm not talking about governance right now. That's not even the point I'm making right now. You know, but the way he comes across, the presentation doesn't look homely, really. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? So right now, Asue appears to so many people like he's an Esan man because of his name. You understand the picture I'm saying now? So that's and you know the funny thing, there are people who are not Beninese who speak Benin very well. I feel more at home with people like that than even people who say they are Beninese and they don't speak Benin. I don't know whether you understand the picture of what I'm saying right now. I mean, this hasn't got nothing to do with whether this person is going to perform or not. Because at the end of this, Shakespeare did say that there is no act to find the mind's construction on the human face. You understand what I'm saying? So whatever anybody's going to do, nobody can predict the temper of a chick still in its egg. So the issue of governance is just another ball game altogether at the moment. But the issue now is, how really are you intertwined with your people? Because that again is going to speak to where people will assume, that will speak to how well do you know the issues. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you've lived in your land, the chances are that you will know the issues. You understand what the people are facing. You will know, what the conversation is and every other thing. But when you tell us that in the course of 8 years, of Adams Oshomole, you travel to Benin about 8 times, and more than that on your personal business and all of that, it doesn't sound very right to me, really, because if you have affinity with your land, you will be regular in your place. Something will always be bringing you that is not government. You understand what I'm saying? We make you closer to the people. So, and if you're not close to the people, and we say that the democracy is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, then people begin to have issue. Somebody have called me to ask me, say, man, okay, my own child, that is born, okay, I've got some children of mine born in Spain. I have a child born in the UK. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? The ones born in Spain, they've been to Nigeria. The one I gave birth to in the UK has not been to Nigeria. Now, if they grow up, they eventually don't know much about Nigeria, about Edo State. Can they aspire? That's what somebody posed to me. You understand what I'm saying now? If they want to, can they aspire to be governors or presidents of Nigeria, as the case may be, and all of that? Say, well, there is no law that says that they cannot aspire. The issue is their proximity and their relationship with the land is an added advantage. In this case, it may not be advantageous to Asue Ighodalo. I think I respect the young man. I think that Asue Ighodalo, from what I've read about him, what I've heard about him, is a professional. He's very astute. He's done very well for himself. But we can name a lot of other names of people in this same race that have done very well for themselves, that are professionals, that are technocrats. They are in this race. And in addition, many of them have close affinity with where they are from. They speak their language. They know their people. Their people know them. So at the end of the day, when you begin to mark these things on the scale of their preferences and every other thing, you begin to find out that it doesn't come across as one that people readily feel at home with by virtue of this alone. That's the way I see it, really.
Yeah, thank you so much, Komelamte. I've got a few disagreements with you, but I just want to remind our viewers, I can see that there's a lot of communication, there's a lot of interaction on all our handles. Please, if you want to join the program, just pick up the phone and ring us. I can see Grace Smart asking us, how can he join the program? Our lines are displayed. Please, you can join by ringing us and just sharing your opinion and letting us know what you think about this.
Pharmacist, sorry, sir. Let me interject. Can we do something? I want to share the link.
Okay.
Okay. So if you can join, just click on the link. You will be with us here.
Okay.
Type your name. So anybody we accept, we just take a minute or two to listen to the person live. So I'm putting the link out there. And so just click on the link to join us.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Komelamte, for taking that very important decision. Great, smart. If you want to join, click on the link and let's hear you. I think the issue we are talking about today is going to be very important. I think going forward, this is going to play a very important role in deciding 2024 governorship election, this issue of speaking really the language. But Komelamte, you said something that one, we have to go home often. For those of us in diaspora who, due to economic reasons, financial reasons, and some other logistical reasons, don't go home regularly, would that also separate us from not really saying that we go to our roots? Because I think it's also important that we look at this. But while you are going to answer that question, I want you to whip all this together because it's very important. We've listened to Comrade Philip Shaibu spoke this week, and we've just also listened to Asue Ighodalo, who has also spoken as well. And they are both contenders and aspiring to be governor of Edo State. And they said something very important. Philip Shaibu said he is the Homeboy. And Asue Ighodalo has taken a radical departure from there. He first said he's an Esan boy, but now he's a real Edo boy. So, Comrade Lamte, they've raised very important issue. What does it take? What are the characteristics of becoming an homeboy? And what are the characteristics of becoming an Edo boy? Philip Shaibu, we know, he's been around in government for quite a long time. As student union government president in the whole of Nigeria, having graduated from University of Jos and worked at his stint with NLC and came to Edo State as a lawmaker. He has been there for a very long time. Left lawmaking and went to higher levels in the House of Rep to become a lawmaker for a little over a year and came back again to run as deputy governor for almost 8 years. He has been in the saddle. He can lay credence to that to say that I'm a proper homeboy. And Asue Ighodalo, on the other side, is saying that although I lived in Lagos, I schooled in Lagos, but I've been part of the economic team for the last 16 years. And I've added credence, I've added value to many things that happen in Edo State. I also regularly visit my own state. And he said he is the Edo boy. Are all these characteristics enough to determine who is homeboy and who is Edo boy? What are the characteristics that we should look out for?
Well, you know, I did remember when Barack Obama was one person I followed very closely when he was running for the presidency of the United States of America. And there was something about Barack Obama that, I never will forget. He would always describe himself as a community organizer, and he talked about a lot of things he did, for his own community. He's from Illinois and every other thing and all of that. And he defined what a community organizer is. So people can actually claim to be homeboys using different, description to describe himself as homeboy. Phyllis Shaibu has said he's homeboy because he dines and wines with the people. He knows the people according to him, and the people know him. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? And that's why Ighodalo has come out to say that he's the real homeboy. As a matter of fact, he did say that Edo boy is in the heart. It is not how many pepper soup joints you go. And he equally added to say that there are people who live in the diaspora who are probably even more homeboys than those who are at home. And I think that he has a very strong point in that regard.
I think you fall into that category, Lamte.
Yes.
Because in your heart, you are pure Edo.
I fall beyond that category. And the reason why I fall beyond that category is that, first, I mean, there was a day my own younger brother told me, I was giving him some information. He told me that they in Nigeria had not heard of that information. Why come that I, who live far away, I am the first to hear a lot of things, even more than they that are at home? You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? Now, apart from that, I was born in that land. I grew up in that land. I did my basic schooling in that land. I mixed up in that land. I used my leg to travel from, Ring Road to Ugbowo to everywhere, all across the land. I had friends all across. You understand? So at the end of the day, my growing up in that land, I saw the land and the land saw me. So even when I ventured into the diaspora, after this, over 2 decades, that I've been away from the land, I still have very close interaction with the land. You get the picture of what I'm saying now. So I consider myself very strongly, and so many people fall into that category. You yourself, you fall into that category, and so many others. But there are people who were born in that land. Some of them, because of their affluent nature and every other thing, their parents took them out of that land very early enough. They went to school in the best schools in Nigeria, never really had anything to do with in this land. Earlier, somebody was saying that, you must not be in the land to learn the language. I said, speaking the language starts from how, the environment created by your parents, as it were. So at the end of the day, when Asue Ighodalo did say that the homeboy, matter is in the heart, I actually believe that, because again, even though you grew up there, you've done everything there, you have done everything there. If at the end of the day you are given the opportunity, to become a governor, to become a local government chairman, and you become one who is corrupt, you are not a homeboy. You understand what I'm saying now? Because the homeboys will really know that these are the issues that are prevalent. If I have the opportunity, I must contribute to alleviating these issues. And so when you look at it in a long stretch, we have not really had true homeboys govern us, either as governors or as local government chairmen, as this. You understand? So the real homeboys I will refer to today, would be somewhere like former governor Samuel Ogbemudia, somewhere like former governor, Ambrose Ali. Those ones still stand out as the true homeboys we've had in the history of the states. In that regard of homeboys being in the mind. You understand? Then when you go to the Western region, somebody like Awolowo will stand out as homeboy. You understand? Who created the foundation of high educational prowess for the Yorubas. You understand? Because he knew that this is the key to the future. So at the end of the day, it is really not enough to just say, man, I speak the language, I do this, that makes you a homeboy. But they are all added advantages. But it all boils down to your feeling and how you are committed to dispensing, and alleviating the issues that are problematic in the land. And again, suffice to state too, you must not be a governor or aspire to be a governor to be a true homeboy. You understand? So if Asue Ighodalo is saying that he is the true homeboy, I want to see Esan lack water. How many boreholes has he sited in Esan land? How many schools has he personally renovated? How many people who are out of school has he put back to school? How many of those things has he done as an Edo boy? That is not occasioned by any exigency of wanting to become governor of Edo State. That he's been doing because I'm an Edo boy. So I want to see those people aspiring to become governors of Edo State today, to see what has their history been like when they were not aspiring. I am not aspiring to be a governor, but you know that a lot of people know that we have a number of children we have taken off the streets, okay, that are out of school, that we have put back to school, and we are sweating to sustain them in school, paying so much to keep them in school. I am a homeboy. And many thanks to a few persons, someone like Adibola, who constantly subscribe to this program, giving us some money to help maintain this children in school. I am a homeboy because I know the issues. If I have a lot more, I will contribute more. You are doing a lot. Someone like Loretta is doing a lot. You understand the saying? I know a few people who are not contesting for anything, okay, but they are committed to ensuring that they solve one or two issues in the land. I want these politicians to start telling us what they have done when they are not in government to alleviate the sufferings of the land, to help the people of Edo State. That will be a true determinant of who a homeboy is as far as Edo State is concerned. But all these rhetorics about, this and that, they're all for me on the periphery. But I really believe that homeboy is in the heart. And I pride myself truly as homeboy.
Your homeboyism and your Edoism, boy, is not in doubt. You are a man in the local government. Look, Komelante, when you were answering this question, you raised very, very important part. Many, many parts put together. And your summation was that all this will play a role in helping that someone get to that position. It is important. And while you were reading out those names, I was equally thinking, all the things that you asked of Asue Ighodalo can also be asked of other aspirants, including Philip Shaibu. And I think for Philip Shaibu is even more because he has been in the saddle for much longer. So the question of what he has done and how he has empowered people, both personally and in government, will come to fore. But the good news is the Comrade Show is going to be welcoming Asue Ighodalo to the show at some point, Philip Shaibu to the show at some point, and many more aspirants to come to the show to tell Edo people, to talk to our viewers what they've done, what they intend to do, and how they see Edo State indeed going forward. And I would say the questions will be more for those that have even tested governors before. We have more questions for them than the new entrant. So, Comrade Lamte, when you were talking about it, I was even thinking in modern times. Somebody like Adams Oshiomhole. Adams Oshiomhole, before becoming governor of Edo State, never visited Edo State. For information, reliable source, he was born somewhere, maybe in his village, and lived most of his life in the northern part of Nigeria. I think Philip Shaibu was also born in Kaduna and probably lived all his life in the north before coming down. So probably if Homeboy was a big issue then, maybe they might not have been able to get that. But politics is something very different. It's always evolving. It's always changing. We have the question of Homeboy and Edo Boy today. Who knows what the question will be
tomorrow,
in 4 weeks' time, in 4 years' time, in 8 years' time, in 10 years' time. So viewers and friends of the Comrade Show, this topic we are discussing is very important. Some people have asked that they want to join. The line is open. Please join and you can ring in as well. Let us know what your thoughts are. Let us know how you think about this, because we think this issue of Homeboy, Edo Boy, Esan guy, Onwan guy, Otuo guy, anywhere guy will not go away. I think it's very important. We begin to see that this will form a very important aspect of discussion of Edo 2024. But we also want to beg, much as this is important, the issue of who is going to be a good governor in terms of governance and what we do is very paramount. Yeah. But Comrade Lamte, I'm trying to bring something away from politics from all this. And I think it's very important. I think Asue Ighodalo can speak the Esan language. My mind tells me that he's just creating a joker. But if it's not, then Comrade Lamte is a big issue. We parents, and especially parents, for me and you, we are fortunate or somewhat unfortunate now to live in diaspora. There are many parents who are from Edo State who are diasporans in Nigeria because they are living in other states. Yeah. So there is another level of diaspora. And if I understand this very well, Asue Ighodalo, a man in focus now, went to the prestigious King's College and probably lived all his life in Lagos. Maybe his parents were all in Lagos as well. I don't know if they didn't speak any word of Esan language to him. That's why he didn't learn it, or did he take any interest? Like I said, I was born in Benin. I'm originally from Otuo, but I'm more of a Benin man, even though I know the Benis will not totally accept me because of my name. But my parents ensured, especially my dad, that at home we spoke the Otuo language. So I can speak the Otuo language, I can understand the Otuo language. I may not be so fluent, but at least I could, if I went to Otuo, just like Asue Ighodalo went to Ewoimi, I would have been able to say a word or two. So, Comrade Lamte, this is very important. What should be the role of parents going forward? Because this is novel. Is it a sin now not to learn, not to teach your children how to speak the language? Would this be a prerequisite for the future? Remember, what starts in Nigeria never go like that. This may be a very big lesson. What do you think parents should begin to do now as they begin to raise their children out of Edo State, and moreover for those of us in diaspora?
To be honest with you, I don't think it is unique to those in diaspora alone. I think we have a huge problem, and a very huge problem. I tell you the truth. Apart from the issue of politics, even in Edo State, even while we were in Edo State, there are people who just pride themselves to say, I remember back in the day in Uniben, when it comes to speaking English, we speak with others as well. But when it comes to me meeting with somebody who's Benin and I begin to speak Benin, I see other Benin people calling me, man, this language is too local. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? People shy away from their language. They don't want to speak it. They want to be seen as speaking it. They don't want to be described as being local, as it were, and all of that. I was never like that. And I think that there's a huge, a criminal offense, morally criminal offense that is taking place in this regard, where people, even in Edo State, no longer speak their language. People just put their children in nursery school, and they just speak English home and everywhere. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? Now, many of us in diaspora were equally guilty of this, and at the end of the day, it creates more strangers, even from amongst us, and all of that. And I think that the people that have led Edo States as people in government have not helped. I did remember back in the day in secondary school, primary and secondary school, we used to have Edo language as a major, elective course that everybody, takes. It was so nice, but at some point, those things just fizzled away. And I think that government should help us from that perspective, because at the end of the day, the number one element of identity is your language. I speak English. I speak Edo language. I speak Spanish. Do you know that I think in all of these languages? If I'm in Spain, for instance, now, or I'm talking to a Spanish person, based on whatever we are discussing, I begin to speak and interact, not just speaking in Spanish, I begin to even think in Spanish. You understand? If I'm speaking English or I'm doing anything in English and everything, I see that I think in English. The same way when it comes to discussing Nigeria or discussing Edo state matter, I think in Edo language. There are a few local languages here and there that I pick, things here and there from. But I think that importantly, okay, the major, most important element of our identity is our language. If we lose it, we've lost everything. There are people right now who can't speak Benin, okay, and they live in the diaspora. We have our young people right now, a lot of whom want to become English people. I remember I was speaking to I was talking to one English person, one British woman. We were talking on phone, and she was telling me that, man, I do not yet have the British accent, and she mentioned Geordie, so I don't have the Geordie accent yet. How come? And I told her, I said, well, I cannot have Geordie accent because even right here in the UK, you have the Welsh accent, you have a Scottish accent, you have, if you even go to Birmingham, it's a different accent altogether. So how many accents am I going to copy? So I remember who I am. I'm Nigerian. The important thing for me is that when I speak my English, okay, you understand me. When you speak yours, I understand you. You hear me, I hear you. I say that's it for me. I'm a Nigerian, and so I keep my accent as a Nigerian. But some of our people come here, they quickly want to twist their tongue to speak like the British. They quickly want to twist their tongue. So all of that is making us very confused people, neither here nor there. You understand what I'm saying? But I think that a lot of effort needs to be put into, our own culture, our own language. It's very important. I'm even guilty of this. 2 days ago, I was at my children and I sat together and I was telling them, like I always do, the history so part of our history. I was telling them the British expedition, to the Benin Kingdom and, what they did with the Benin Kingdom, under the reign of Oba-Ovorame and Okbaisi and every other thing. Even my little daughter, they were asking so many questions. I equally told them the story of the last Ogiso, and the transition between the Ogiso, era to the Oba era. All of those stories about Ogiso Owodo, what's his name, the Kalade runs and all of those things, you understand, that led us to taking our Oba to our prince to what's it called, the Yoruba land, and how the Eweka dynasty started and all of those things. And the kids, you won't. In fact, I have not finished answering all the questions, and I've told them that we're going to go through these stories again. You understand? I could see their interest. In fact, my own 11-year-old child, who's been like Britain, started developing some dislike for Britain because of the British expedition of, of over 100 years ago. And I said, no. Those were things that happened that time. They are history. It's important, And I actually showed them a lot of our artwork stolen by the British that we are requesting that they bring back to our land now, because these things are part of our identity. And the kids are knowing, they are seeing those artwork, and I promised them that I will take them to the British Museum to go and see some of those artwork, to let them know that these things are works from their own ancestry, from their forefathers, from their own land. I think we need to evolve and develop this connection. It's important. And I think that government of Edo State, those who claim to be homeboys, whichever of them is privileged and opportune, it is an area we need to give attention to. And I think that the Ministry of Education, through the Commission of Education, we need to reintroduce our local languages to our curriculum. It's very important. Otherwise, we are just losing what is left of our identity. It is so important.
Yeah, Komilamte, absolutely. I cannot agree with you more. It's just that even Nigeria at some point lost the way. So much so that there's this argument about where Lagos started from because we've forgotten about our history. Those folk stories that we used to hear is very important. And I think the government is taking a step backward now to see how they can reintroduce history into our curriculum. Yeah. See, this is very important for us diasporans. we need to begin to talk about the language, about our local language. And some of you, if you are fortunate to be married to a partner who comes from your place, then it will be very wrong for your children not to be able to speak your language. If you are married to somebody that comes from different place, it might be difficult, but it will be advisable to still do that. I believe that even Mr. Ighodalo now may be feeling that he took the wrong step in not wanting to learn his language. But I'm very sure he can speak the language. He's from Ewoimi. Ewoimi is a very important place in Edo Central and in Esan land. But this is opening up a very big room for discussion. And I think it's important. We must commend both men. Those other aspirants, if you don't know how to speak your language, I would say start taking tutorials, because in every debate you go to, this may form part of the discussion. I think one of our friend Mudia is trying to get in. He wants to say a word or two. Mudia, the lines are displayed. I've sent the number to you privately. You can ring in and let us hear your thought. Those Nigerians, wherever you are, this is very important, because language is going to play a role in Edo 2024. But myself and Komelamte, we've agreed in very clear terms that it is important, but it's not really a prerequisite. But we think that having a grasp of your language will also help you to understand your culture and may also play a role in governance. Yeah, I think let's take a few of that being displayed. Godwin Osareme is saying he speaks Esan but not too fluent. Great news. He doesn't need to be fluent. Just to understand a word of that is very important. I think he does. And I think in the weeks and days ahead, he may come up with even many sweet words in Esan language.
We equally have this from engineer Kelly Osarabu, who says that we will continue to support Obaseki because he's the best governor.
in
I think you have a call.
Yeah, let's take the call. It might be Mudia.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Oh, I'm calling from Atlanta.
Go ahead, sir. What's your name?
My name is Pius.
Mr. Pius, go ahead. Nice to have you on.
I want to make a very, very contribution to what you just said, Mr. Comrade. Language is very, very key.
Yes.
If that man cannot speak our language, it's going to be very hard. And I think it's a very, very strong prerequisite. For those of us in diaspora, I'm here in the US, language is very key. Sometimes it discriminates against you because you cannot speak a language. So I don't know how we can undermine that in our electoral process. That's very, very wrong. So I think that is not a good step or a good, it's not looking good for that man if he's just trying to come in. Yeah. That's just my little contribution. Language is very central to development, to socializations, and all those factors. So if he's not able to speak Ishan, then it's going to be very, very difficult. Very difficult. And that speaks volumes. That's what we are missing right now in Nigeria. That identity is very, very important. Yeah. That's my contribution. Yes.
Pius, stay on the line. Are you calling all the way from Atlanta?
Pius is asking, are you calling? He said he's calling from Atlanta.
Pius, can you hear me? Are you still there?
I'm calling from Atlanta.
Pius, are you from Edo State?
And
Pius is an Ishan man.
There's no way I will face. Yes, I'm from Esan.
Pius, I'm not going to let you go without speaking a word. Pius,
can you say something in Esan language?
Pius, I'm not going to let you go. Can you say a word in Esan language? Aha, that's good.
Let's take another call. Hello. Good evening, bro. Where are you calling from and what's your name?
We can't hear him.
I'm calling from Blackpool, United Kingdom.
He's calling from Blackpool. Go ahead, sir.
What's your name?
Yeah, I just want to...
What's your name, sir?
My name is Splendor Omera.
Splendor Omera, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to respond to the last caller there. The issue with the Asian people is that I don't think Ighodalo is totally out of order for not addressing the Ewoimi people in the local dialect.
Yeah.
For example, the Esan language is not one. if I want to address the whole of Esan people in a gathering, the best way I can address them is to speak the English language, because we have versions of Esan language. For example, my own Esan language is more or less like me speaking Benin.
Yeah.
More or less like me speaking the Benin language. So if I want to talk to somebody from Uromi and I'm from Ogwa, how am I going to communicate with my Ogwa language, which is more or less like a Benin language, and to somebody from Uromi or somebody from maybe Ubiaja?
But my brother,
So
but
we
did you
language
did you watch
and how it affects us?
No, did you watch the video to see that while he was speaking English and that person was interpreting in the Esan language? Did you watch that?
Yeah, I watch. Yes, I watch it. I watch it very well.
Okay.
See, these are just the preliminary stages. It is not out of order for him to communicate in English language now. Nobody can actually substantiate the fact that he cannot speak Esan language.
Okay.
Nobody has ever heard him not able to speak Esan language. So the fact is not founded yet.
Yes.
Until they come to that point where they now ask him, speak Esan to him, and he's not able to respond. That is when we begin to draw.
That's a very good point.
Okay, how do you expect an Ighodalo to speak to from somebody from Ekoma?
No, I think you have made the point. You have made the point. We can.
To speak to somebody from Amaho. How do you expect somebody from Ekoma to speak to somebody from even Wohimi?
Oh, you are in order, my brother. You have made the point. I think that's the same point that we are all echoing. Thank you so much.
What we should be looking at is that, does he have the capacity? Does he understand the problem of Edo State? Does he know where we want to be in Edo State?
Yes.
Can he help us to revive our pride as Edo sons and daughters? That should be the
conversation.
That should be the subject we'll be discussing, not whether he can speak. He can speak Esan language, whether he can speak Benin language, whether he can speak Ateman language. That is irrelevant for now. That is not.
Your opinion is your opinion is well expressed, sir. Thank you so very much. We'll take other callers.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Splendor from Blackpool. You've added another color to it. And like I said, I think it's a joker. I think Asue and Ighodalo can speak a word or two of Isha language. But it's very important that we read the comment by Irene Ienes, who is saying, with all due respect, Mr. Kola, he was in his village and not other part of Esan land. I think that's a very good response to Splendor, because Splendor was trying to say that there are so many languages in Esan land.
And I equally think that it's pretty much out of place to say that it doesn't matter. I think it does matter. You know, it does matter. You know, even there are a few things that.
Comilante, let me stop you there. Godwin Osareme has asked a very important question. This is political tough, and I think I need to ask you that question. He says, my question now is who amongst the opposition aspirants can chest Dr. Asue, Sterling Bank, and incumbent governor, please? Someone should answer. Comilante,
let's take this caller before we respond to that question.
Okay.
Hello. Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from, and what's your name, sir?
My name is Smart. I'm calling from Mina.
Go ahead, sir.
So, I really want to start from the issue of the homeboys in the heart.
Yes.
I think that is just the fact.
Yes.
The homeboys in the heart is not how many people, how long you have stayed at home. Like what Comrade Latin said. He said, apart from Samuel Bemuda and Professor Abdul Salim, we haven't really had that homeboy governor.
Yeah.
I think Lucky was born in Edo State.
Yes.
Osumbo was born in Edo State.
Yeah.
And even Obaseki, despite school in Ibadan, he was born in Edo State. What are we really going to point out and say these people, they are really homeboy? Phyllis Shaibu using the statement of homeboy. If you can recall, Phyllis Shaibu is not a homeboy. He only came back home because of politics. He was born in Kaduna. He schooled in Jos. He did the service in Northern Side, and he also worked in Northern Side. When he wanted to contest, because of politics, he came back home. So if not for politics, Shaibu don't have the right to say he's a homeboy, because the difference between Shaibu and Asue Ighodalo now is because he has stayed longer than Ighodalo in politics. That's the reason why he's familiar with the people. If not for politics, I don't see the reason why Shaibu will be in Edo State. And two, this is just my personal opinion and my personal cry for this 2024 issue.
Yeah.
I don't really want us to focus on people who have been in politics for long, who don't have any other thing attached to their CV apart from politician, being a politician. We need people who have built their private life successfully, who have connection to draw investors, both foreign and local investors. Not people just, okay, what you have is politics. You can be a governor when you don't have influence on people. You cannot attract foreign investors. That is just it.
Yeah.
And these local people we are talking about, Obaseki, I'm not really satisfied with Obaseki or what he has done for the past 8 years or 7 years. But when you are talking about foreign investors, Obaseki have attracted more foreign investors than any other government in recent days. We can see the little company they are building. Why did he succeed in doing that? Because at least he has worked with people. It was not based on politics alone. That's the influence he used to bring all those people. Philip Shaibu don't have the career to say he's the homeboy, others are not homeboy. And two, homeboy should be in the heart. Like Comrade Latin, I know what you have been doing. I've been following you since 2020. When we are talking about Togba, that's when I knew you. That's when I started following you. I know what you have done. I don't think for them since 2020 you have been to Edo State up to 10 times. If you want to contest tomorrow, somebody should not say because you are not in abroad, you are not home, you are not a homeboy. After all the fight, you have been fighting for Edo people. I think that is an insult and it's not right. Let us see what they have.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Smart. Smart, don't go away, Smart. Smart.
And the problem and the solution, what they can do within a specific time. That is what we need. Not who is a homeboy in pepper soup joint or is a homeboy in newspaper or politics. Thank you.
Can Smart?
Thank you very much, Smart.
His native language.
Oh yeah, he's
Smart has gone. I think Komelate, I think Smart made a very, very important point there. So before Komelate, I must thank you. I think this issue is very important. This is very paramount that we hear from so many people, and people have really made comments. So as we begin to round up, Komelate, I did ask you that very important question. Somebody is saying that the war chest of Asue Ighodalo combined with the war chest of the Ikube governor is a fight in our hands. What do you think?
Well, at the end of the day, the Edo State people, they are going to determine who's going to be the next governor of Edo State. It's not going to depend on the war chest of any individual or group of individuals. I do understand that right now our politics only speaks the language of money. But I equally do know that Edo State people have, you know, they are like the Romans. You know, when the head moves, the head moves. Some of the time, it's not determined by how much money somebody's throwing around. The Benin man says, Edo human, the Benin may not necessarily go to any meeting to go and discuss anything, but somehow they have just one thing in their minds. And when the time comes, they begin to speak the language of that particular thing. You know, I know it's just like in 2020, it was not because Obaseki had money. You understand? So Obaseki gave people money that earned him support. The business just came that we do not want oppression. You understand? We want to go the way of, you know,
the Edos.
The Edos. Yeah, sorry. If I use the Benin here, I'm equally referring to the Edos. And even beyond Edos, because when you talk of the United Kingdom of Great Benin, it encompasses both the Edos, the Ikweres, even down to the people of Dahomey, even down to people of parts of Lagos, the Ekos, and all of that. So that is how we move. So when the head moves, the head moves. You understand what I'm saying? And the mob, let's say, is rule. The Edos are the Edos. So it's not really going to depend on how much money. There's a point where money is going to do its work. There's a point where money cannot travel beyond. And that's what makes Edo people different.
Thank you so much, Komelate. In fact, when we were talking last week, we did acknowledge that money is very important. But you know, Edo State people, like you said, are very savvy. Money will play a role, but money is not the determining factor. I just want to ask, I can see so many comments on Dr. Ighodalo. Is he a doctor? Has he got a PhD? I like to get it right. The last time I checked, when I read about him, I didn't capture that, but probably maybe he has a PhD, but I know he's a strong financial guru. So for now, we leave it at Asue Ighodalo. Yeah, I think viewers, thanks for ringing. It's been a very exciting discussion today, and the issue has been.
Sorry, sir. Before you conclude, let us respond to. Let's correct this. This one is from Buki Elizabeth. It says, "My people, please. This is not Obaseki. It said this is not issue. Obaseki never speak Benin in public. We should not put ourselves in problem because we have children in abroad who cannot speak our language." Buki, first and foremost, I will quickly disagree with you. Obaseki spoke Benin wherever necessary, wherever he needed to speak Benin. Obaseki spoke Pidgin English. I remember on this program, the Comrade Show, I did ask Obaseki once, and I said, "Sir, I never hear you speak Pidgin English. You know, Sabi speaker." It was because of this same issue of identity, and he started speaking Pidgin English. You understand the picture of what I'm saying? Now, probably in our next program, I'll bring that excerpt so you can see. Again, I will appeal to you not to use this issue to blanket your failure as a parent or the failure of many of us as parents, that we are not teaching our children our language. We are not putting in as much effort as possible. You understand what I'm saying now? Let's not blanket that. For many of us that have not done that, we are lacking, and we need to probably start beaming the searchlight into that and start doing as much as we can do. You understand? It starts from just letting your children, making them understand that they must start greeting your family greeting in the mornings. You understand what I'm saying? Now, it starts basically from letting them know that if you are Benin and you speak Lavieze, you speak Labo, you speak Latose, you greet Lamogun, let them start doing that in the mornings, compulsorily. It starts from you telling them that after eating, for the boys, they should say Kada. For the guests, they should say Eregboe. It starts from that. It starts from telling them that Lare means come if you are Beninese. It starts from telling them that Vai means come if you are Esan. You understand what I'm saying now? Let's start putting some of these basics into them. So let us not use this issue to blanket it that our children don't speak the language. Doesn't mean that we don't have the opportunity. It will be a disadvantage to them if they don't have their way around it. You understand what I'm saying? Now, it does not take away the opportunity, but it will be a disadvantage because in the time they will come and say they want to become something, there will be people who will be as good as them in the areas where they are good. And those people will have the advantage of knowing the language where they don't know the language. So it's important. You understand what I'm saying now? I own up to it that many of us in the diaspora with our children, we have failed in this. We probably need to start looking at this very critically. It's important. It's a huge, identity crisis that we are confronting right now. God bless.
Thank you so much, Komelamte. I think in business, when we're doing masters in business administration, we call it competitive advantage. Absolutely. Because you want to use everything that you have to outwit the other contestant. I think a very big lesson as we begin to round up is over 1 hour on the clock now, is to say that even though we are talking about EDO 2024, I think there's a cultural dilemma here as well, especially for those of us living in diaspora. If you live outside Edo State, you are a diasporan. So it's a big challenge. It's even more painful for those that live in other parts of Nigeria who are from Edo State, whose children cannot speak a word of Edo language. And for those of us in diaspora, proper diaspora abroad, we should at least do that. I think it's very important. And like Komelamte said, speaking the language is it gives a conduit, a cultural affiliation to where you come from. And that would also help you to teach more about their history. Friends and viewers of the Comrade Show, please, for those that will watch later, share, and share. I want to thank all those who have made contribution. Facebook and YouTube handle has been buzzing. People have been making huge contribution to today's show. It's been the Comrade Show, and the discussion has been a governorship election 2024. Who is an Edo boy? Who is a Homeboy? Who is an Esan boy? And we zero in on the outburst or the homecoming of Asue Ighodalo on his visit to Wohimi. And we thought that this was important and never-ending discussion. Who is an Homeboy? Who is an Esan boy? Who is an Edo boy? Who is an Onwan boy? And I think this is going to form a very important point. I must thank Komelamte for shedding light on this and for all the discussions that we've had. But in conclusion, while we agree that speaking the language is an added advantage, we think that the next governor of Edo State must be that person that have empathy, knows what he wants, and where he wants to take Edo State to. Everything should be anchored indeed on good governance. Politics will come, PDP, APC, Labour Party, and many other allied parties. But let the benefit of true governance and true governor of Edo State be for the betterment of Edo people. I want to thank all those who find time to call and to air their view. Let me say thank you to Pius all the way from Atlanta, United States of America. We had Mr. Splendor ringing all the way from Blackpool, United Kingdom, and Mr. Smart from Milan, Italy. Thank you so much for your contribution. For those that have listened to us, thank you so much. Those that watch later, I will say thank you so much. Komelamte, I'm going to be calling on you now to just say your final words. But please follow us on TCS blog. Like Komelante said, we are being under serious attack from the internet. But now we are using the TCS blog. Please do follow us. Komelante, your final word. Homeboy, Komelante. Edo boy, Komelante.
Edo boy. Thank you very much, pharmacist. Thank you so much. You've been very much on top of your game today. And I mean, this has been very interactive. I like to say that we probably may come up with this topic again to have a part 2 of it, because the truth of the matter is that one or two persons will take something away from this discourse. Even us seated here, all sat here, we've listened to people, we've read comments, and I have learned quite some things too from here. So I just want to say that we owe it a commitment to rekindle our connection with our identity, and the language is the most critical component of that. And let's do as much as we could. We are not just helping our families if we support our children to learn our languages. We are equally helping our nation, because it brings them closer to who we really are, and we don't want to lose that. And please, if you have watched this program and you feel it's interesting enough, I will equally appreciate you to share the broadcast. Follow us on TCS blog. We have been victims of series of hack here and there, and I don't just know, but they just keep targeting the commercial show, targeting our account and every other thing. But every attempt to try to seal our voice, we are not going to allow it. So please keep encouraging. Follow us on TCS blog. We need to build that particular page because of all of these issues that we are getting with the commercial currently. That's all I'm going to say for now. But I just want to thank everybody that's been part of this. May God bless you all. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Komelante. It's always a pleasure to be in the saddle with you. Viewers and friends of the Comrade Show, thank you so much for being part of it. Have a very good weekend. 2 things trouble me, and I want to leave us with these words: truth and conscience. In the words of Usman and Fodo, conscience indeed is an open wound. Only truth will heal it. Stay blessed until we come your way again next Sunday.